Hey, and welcome back to another Animal Crossing video. Today we're actually going to design my island flag for Orne, and I will be just using whatever. I'm just going to get rid of these designs because I think it'll be fine, but this is actually going to be based off of an emblem in MapleStory. So there's cute little emblems for each town, and I figured this would be a really nice way to show like kind of what my town is sort of based off of. Orne is actually named after a town in MapleStory 2, but I want to keep the same pixel feel as MapleStory 1, so we're just going to start by doing kind of some outlines. I always try to do outlines first, or just like general areas and color to kind of visualize what I'm doing. So you can kind of see there's like an outline to a roof. It's going to be a little bit more medieval style because a lot of MapleStory's style is really medieval. This particular design has a cute tree windmill in it. It's just like a really, kind of naturey thing, and I definitely want to incorporate those designs into my town as we go on. So yeah, I'm currently like working on this little windmill and the roof, just to kind of get the basic layout and then get some colors down. So I picked a nice muted color palette. It has a lot of greens and earthy tones and browns and reds and oranges. It's all within that warm kind of earthy tone. The roof bit is the red part, the rest will be kind of like a nice beige color. We'll add some beams, some wooden beams in there. But to start, we're just kind of getting the basic shapes and the outlines and filling in the basic colors. That's always really easy to do, and really an easy way to start your design is just by filling in the colors and then adding the shading afterward. So for the leaves and stuff, I added a little bit of extra color, but I wanted to put the shape of the house windows in. It was a little too wide for my taste because I wanted the windows to only have like a little bit in between where there's only one pixel. So I just reduced the roof, and it's totally okay to go back and to change some of the shapes of the house if you're not happy with it. That's something that I feel like is kind of hard to do as a designer, is to go back and erase some of your work to kind of refine it, but it always ends up looking a lot better than when it started. I have a couple of different brownish gray tones, so I have like the darker brown that I was currently using, and then to separate the two beams on the top, I think I'm going to use two different brown colors just to kind of give it a little bit. It kind of gives it a little bit of height almost, like it almost looks like they're kind of behind. So I'm going to use those two colors to kind of give depth. It was really, really flat, and me being a vector artist, I love flat designs. But for this one, I definitely want to make it feel like there's a little bit of a varied space. Like some of the things are in front of the others. That's kind of what these beams are kind of helping out with. Just expanding the roof behind the front part of the building to behind the tree. It also shows that, that front tower is kind of protruding forward. Adding little accents and putting windows in and kind of separating it with the darker brown. I feel like that helps a lot to kind of separate the spaces. My favorite is looking at the pixel art up at the very top left. I feel like the pixel art always looks so much better than everything else. And then just adding some accents around the windmill, kind of filling out the trees. I'm going to use quite a few different colored greens just to fill it out and make it look like a tree. Trees typically have like a lot of variance to them as well, so. And then just putting outlines around the tree to make it kind of separate, but I didn't really like how dense it looked, so I figured I'll probably make the tree outline a dark green on the inside and not worry so much about the brown on the inside as much, except around the areas that would have brown tones to begin with. And so it's kind of hard to see, but I'm actually using a lighter sandy color under the windows. And again, that just kind of adds like a nice little depth to it, even if it's not entirely noticeable right away. And then just adjusting the roof lines to kind of have these nice stripes. And I think it looks really cute. It's just what I was hoping it would look like. So we'll just name it, and then we'll see what it looks like on the ground. Alright, we'll place it right in front of the airport. How cute is that? Isn't that nice? So because I didn't add a background to it, it can fit right on the ground. But I feel like we should also include the word Orne. So what I did was I duplicated the flag itself, and that way I can get the color palettes in the same colors I've already used, and I just wiped it out. So for this, I really wanted to have like a nice cursive feel. I'm not really good at making cursive and pixel art, but I figured, you know, I'm never going to learn if I don't try, so let's just start with the nice red roof color we had, put the brown outline so it'll be consistent with the previous design, and kind of make the little loop-de-loop for the Orne bit. It's a little wonky looking, but I think we can make it work just by tweaking it. It takes a little practice and it takes a little while, but it definitely looks cute. The other problem I was having was the R and the N look very similar in cursive English writing, or just cursive, you know, writing in general. And so when I was making this, I realized doing the outlines probably wasn't the best idea. I should do the interior of the text first, and then do the outlines afterward. So I kind of readjusted the N and the R and the E to all have the outlines that way, but just to make sure all of the letters are consistent, I had to raise the R up a little bit to match with the N, give the R a little bit of a loop-de-loop, push the N back down, and that way all of the tops of the letters are at the same height, and then it looks a little bit more consistent. And so then just a few cleanups. I was trying to see what it looked like if I filled out the O, but I decided I liked the O empty. And then just cleaning up the edges a little bit here. So I figured to add a little bit of accent so it's not just super plain. I thought it'd be cute to kind of bring the green from the previous design into this one. So I figured adding like little leaves off of the tree. I realized it kind of looks like orange with the leaf on top, especially when it had like this reddish or burgundy orange color. So I changed the color to the other brown we were using and added another sprout just to kind of show that it's more like tree branches than it is an orange, if that makes sense. And so I'm just adding some shading to give it a little look. I'm also adding some brown colors in here. They're a bit lighter, but the cool thing about changing the individual colors in a design like this is for the R and for the N, it can really change the shape of the letter itself just by depending on where you put the color. So I was kind of experimenting with that, but I figured I would change the color palettes of what's in there afterward to kind of fit more of a branchy color and less of just the regular color. So then we were going to place it down. And, you know, it's a little too high up. It was kind of floating next to the design, so I figured by adding a little underline, it would look really cute. I kind of wanted it to look like a little vine. So I decided, let's try making like a little leafy vine, but it was a little too straight. So after that, I was like, okay, let's try to make it look like it's twisting a little bit. So I just am pushing kind of the pixels down in a certain, like just certain spots to kind of make it feel like it's more of a twisted vine, kind of like the twisted vines are for the letter or for the word Orne. And then when we place it down, and don't mind all these extra ones here, but yeah, it came out really cute. The way that the leaf goes from the bottom of the design back up to the Orne, it kind of balances it out. And I think it looks really, really nice. So I'm really happy with how this design came out. Let me know what you guys think. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Bye!